Hi everyone, I'm back. Today's video is talking about Twizzles. The aim is to give you some tips and some advice of things you can do off ice to help you improve your understanding and your basic technique for Twizzles when you bring them to the ice, and then to also strengthen so that you can make them securer and develop them. And then towards the end of the video, I'm actually going to go over some of the IJS level features so that you can increase those levels on those Twizzles for those of you that are quite secure and solid on the basics. So, without further ado, a Twizzle is similar to a double 310. It uses the same edges. It is essentially linked 3 turns, so a single Twizzle is like the equivalent of a double 3. However, the difference and the key difference being that Twizzles are unchecked. A check is when we turn, we balance and glide on each edge and then we turn again. So when you get a double 3, for instance forward inside, you balance on the forward inside edge, you turn, you balance on the forward outside edge, it carries on, you turn, you balance on the forward inside. A Twizzle is more like a travel and spin, but still in 3-10 format, so it's turn, but without a stop in the rotation. So there is a rock forward and back as with a 310, but the rock back is very minute, so you can barely feel it, whereas on a 310 you can kind of feel the blade use the rocker. You feel it a lot less on the Twizzle. It's still happening, but it's going to feel much more stable if you've got it right. Okay? When you start off, at low speed, your turns are going to be roughly less than a blade length apart. As your speed increases, your turns are going to stretch out, so the shape on the ice, which kind of looks like an M, they're going to become longer. Okay, so it's a little bit of a myth that they're less than a blade length. They are probably at lower speed, but with speed, like anything, the momentum carries you and it will stretch it out. But they're still without the glide. The key thing is there's no stop, there's no pause. Okay, it's turn, 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 turn. Okay. The most common one that we start with is the forward inside. Most people, or the majority of people, do tend to rotate over their left shoulder, an anti-clockwise rotation, so they're probably going to start off with a right forward inside. Okay. The left arm would go in front, Twizzles work in opposition. So right leg, left arm for a right forward inside. The arms are going to meet. So that left arm is not going to pull any further back, and the right arm is going to come round towards it. It's going to join it, but it's not going to go beyond it. So the twist is here, rotation is twist and lift, but the twist is that right arm initially behind us, not too far back, just slightly beyond the 90. And that's going to join the left and then pull in. The key thing is to be over the supporting side, over the skating leg. Like with so much of what I say, it's weight over the skate. Okay, and we do that by thinking of the body moving, having a strong posture, ribs in, hips under, nice strong tummy muscles, so we've got that nice long tall back, pulling up with our head, okay, but pushing our hips through so that you can feel that stretch out and you can practice that balance. For a basic Twizzle, when you're first starting out, you're probably going to have your foot quite low, probably towards the ankle, but as you get more confident you can bring it up. So we have our opposition arms, we bend. Now on the ice you're going to do a proper skating push. Twizzles have an entry edge. Okay, a common mistake I see is people kind of come to it, almost stop and try to throw their body around by throwing this side that's going through and doing it with upper body action. If you drive through and use your knee action and just join the arms, you should get round and you'll be able to control the weight over the skating side so you can maintain your balance in the turn. So I don't want to see this or this because it's going to fall off, or this typical one where they pull it in and they kind of lean to the side and put the foot down. It needs to be bend, opposition, body over the skate, head pulling up as the knee pushes down and in. Of course, it's balance, so always good to practice. We stretch out position to the turn a few times on the balance board. If you are a clockwise rotator, you're going to find it easier on the left foot. So you have your right arm in front, push out, bend, keeping that posture, down and up, over the left side. Twizzles, you need to be able to do on both feet, and you need to be able to do both directions. So although you're going to find one easier and the other more natural, you do still need to be able to go the other way. You also will need to be able to do twizzle sequences involving twizzles off of different edges. Twizzles can happen on all 8 of our edges. Okay, so left and right, insides and outsides, forwards and backwards, every combination. So although the forwards and insides are the easiest, the backwards outsides are probably the ones you're going to learn next, and they're kind of similar. They're actually the same set of turns once you get into rotation, because it's based on a forward inside 3 turn and a backwards outside 3 turn for a forward inside twizzle. The only difference for back outside is it's a back outside 3 turn, so it's that second 3 turn goes first, and then the forward inside, the first 3 turn goes second. So it's just reverse the order, but they are actually the same. The same thing applies with back insides and forward outsides, but they tend to be considered harder. Okay. With the back outside twizzles, there's 2 ways of entering. You can do it from just a push back like a liner position and come up. So that feels very similar in the way you get in, again, keeping that body strong. Okay. Or you can do it from a chassé, push and pull in, and then the foot can cross at the ankle too, which might feel easier to help really stack you over that skating side. It feels a little bit like a single loop jump. I'll just show you in reverse over the left side. Looking into that circle and pulling up. There. And again, you can of course practice these positions on the balance board to get that strong and steady. As I said, once you're in rotation, you just stay still. It's the hard bit, the tricky bit, is getting there and getting that weight transfer and being strong, being secure, and not being afraid to push. Lots of people hesitate and hold back, so they don't get the momentum to carry them through the turn. Because once you're in it, it's not like a 3 turn where you can re-initiate your speed by using your knee action. Once you're in, generally there is no knee action. There is one exception to that rule that I'll talk about later on the variations, but generally twizzles, the knee action is on the entry edge, and then it's up. Entry edge, up. Entry edge, up. Okay. Because what tends to happen is once you get the knee action, you start to find checking. When you're building up your twizzles from basics, we start off with singles, which is just 1 full rotation, and it does need to be a full rotation. So if your entry edge is forward inside, it is not complete until you're back to the forward inside, and you're still travelling along your back travelling along the ice. Sometimes I see people sort of do 3/4 of a turn and then sort of push forward. That does not count. You need to be strong. You need to hold your weight over the skating side until you're back to that spot. Really feel it move over. Think of the belly button pulling over to that foot. I think of it as when you're on the forward inside 3 turn twizzle, for example, the weight is almost out the circle, so, or at least on the hip, down the hip and down the side that's outside of that circle. So you're still over the inside edge, okay, as you push in, but it's down that outside of the circle hip, if that makes sense, down the outside of the skating hip. Okay, and that's going to stay there throughout that turn. And that is something that you can apply throughout your twizzle. So outside of the skating hip, no matter which way the edge is, because you don't want to be collapsing into the rotation. And then, so, building up your twizzles, you start off with singles, just try to get all the way around. Then when you want to build to doubles, try single, single, double. So you get used to quick rotations, turn, and then see if you can hold a little bit longer so you're getting that feel. Then do single, double, triple, quad. Build up gently. Work both sides, don't be afraid of your other side. Lots and lots of balance practice. So whether it's just practicing standing on one foot, like that, practice with the arms. Then start to move your feet around, and this is when we're going to come to our next, the next stage, which is once you're secure, you're strong, you've moved your free leg up to here, we can then talk about moving into variations. Before we do that though, things to help strengthen it if you are finding yourself a bit wobbly, lots of play on the balance board. After all, this is balance. Twizzles are basically balance. And it's core. So the other things I would suggest are a little bit of side plank. So shoulder over hand, pull up, strong belly. Keep that along the side that's touching the floor, so it's like the twizzling side. Keep lifted. You can lift the leg up. You can bring it to like a retire. You can cross it. You can't really see me do that, but you can cross that foot in front. You just get my balance back. Okay, tuck it behind. And I'll explain the reason behind that in a minute, but it's all to do with variations. But overall, it's just about getting over that one side and using the core to work and hold it so it's nice and strong. V balance, V sit, so that we're practicing lifting the legs up, quads engaged, so we're using the core as we lift the legs, which is something that's going to be important again in a minute when I talk about the next stage up and the variations. Things we can do to strengthen the push-in, just the down and up, little half squats. Okay, so getting used to rising without compromising the body, so we're bending up and down. You can do that, sort of sliding up and down the wall as well, so that you can focus on a long straight back. So no ribs flaring, no butt sticking out, no archy back, no leaning forward, just nice up and down. And then we can go bend, up, lunge, up, so that again we're practicing bending without, and then getting over the skating side. This is also a good little exercise for jumps. Down and over the skating side. And you can feel that quick rate transfer. So there's a few little exercises.